As I was saying, this is Multifamily Investor Nation Meetup Mondays, or you could call it Multifamily Meetups. And I'm your host for today. My name is Carlos Di Reinoso, and today's topic is going to be on networking with investors for your multifamily deal. So it's actually a great topic to discuss. And, a lot of times people are looking for new and clever ways to network and get the word out about what they're doing. And I believe today's meetup is going to bring a lot of value in that topic. All right. So what I want to do now is share my screen and see if I have my presentation ready to go here like I should. So could you guys see the screen that says networking with investors?
Yes.
Okay, not just behind me, but also to the
Yes,
side.
in its own window.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for that. That clarifies it for me. So I appreciate that. So yeah, networking with investors for your multifamily deal. I'm your host for today, Carlos Di Reinoso. And just a little background about me and who I am and why I'm here today. So basically, I am a co-organizer for Multifamily Investor Nation. It's basically a networking group for investors nationwide. There's over 52 meetups across the US. Also, being part of that, I've been able to learn a lot from Dan Hanford and his group. And I'm a founder and CEO of my investment firm. The name is Canis Major Investment Capital, which is basically a constellation in the sky that I'm really into. And so I named my company after that, which also the constellation, if you know just a little bit about it, it's the big dog in the sky. The first star in the constellation is Canis Major, Sirius, which is the biggest star, the brightest star in the sky. So, yep. And I'm a managing partner, also a general partner. I'm a capital raiser. I was raising capital on a deal. I call it the one that got away. Basically a 240 unit 506B offering in San Antonio, Texas. But I did learn a lot, and I have now more concrete soft commitments and also the experience of lessons learned. I'm the author of the book, Selling Secrets You Can't Afford to Miss. It's basically a book that I wrote to give back to an industry that's been really great to me, basically for the real estate single family industry. I was recently interviewed on a very special podcast. It's one of the longest lasting daily podcast ever, the best real estate investing advice ever show with Joe Fairless and Ash Patel. And I was interviewed on the topic with Ash Patel. Let's see here. I went back too far. The topic of tips to boost your online network and find investors with yours truly, Carlos Di Reinoso, which adds to the point that I do have some experience when it comes to, networking and how to get the word out about what you're trying to do. And also, to trying to gain, let's say, notoriety in the industry as well. So definitely you could check it out. Just go to, do a Google search and you could just put Carlos Di Reinoso and Ash Patel, and it should populate there for you. You can see me here at the bottom left, middle, and up to my right-hand corner, I have Michael Blanc, who was also interviewed that same day on the podcast, the same week. Here you can see I was raising capital. I'm sorry, not raising capital. I was a moderator for the panel on raising capital and finding money for your real estate deals. This was in the summit of this year, actually January, and great summit. We had Chris Larson, Timothy Lyons. I'm trying to remember everybody's name, but there was at least 4 experienced investors, and it was a great summit. By the way, if you ever do purchase the tickets to the summit for MFIN, you also get past recordings as well. So you'll definitely still be able to take a look at this. So I highly recommend it. This was one of the best attended. Actually, it was the best attended spot in the entire summit. You could ask somebody about that. I think Dan was looking at the stats, so definitely. In fact, there's another column like this that I have that also shows who was the. Oh, look, Aaron's joining us again. Yeah, so we still have people trickling in. As you're coming in, please let us know Give us some of your contact information in the chat box. I was just about to get to that. Drop your info there. Everybody who leaves their email address will possibly get an email, how to get started in multifamily investing webinar video. And that's free just for giving us your email. And just let us know that you're interested in the video as well. Okay, this is the next summit coming up. And this one is MFIN Con in Charlotte. I always forget, is it South Carolina? Yeah, and basically it's a 3-day event. You know, every time they have a summit, there's usually at least 350 investors. Most are experienced investors. Angel usually attends. Myself, I usually try to attend unless work prohibits. But I definitely recommend going here because on the topic of networking, this is a great place to be. Hi, Aaron. Nice to see you. This is a great place to be to learn and network with other investors. Plus, kind of like, ask them questions, reach out to them and learn a little bit more about these experienced investors who could possibly either A, bring you in on deals, B, be a key principal possibly for one of your deals, or at the very least, be willing to answer some questions and set aside some time to be there and give you some tips. Cinto is also joining us today, so that's cool. People are still trickling in. And thank you guys for joining us today. As you're coming in, please enter your contact information in the chat box below, and we'll make sure to reach out, either myself or someone from MFIN, Multifamily Investor Nation. We'll reach out to you as well. But definitely check this out. Tickets are still available. This one is going to be June 12th through the 14th. Definitely check it out. Charlotte, North Carolina. All righty. And so a little bit for those who are just coming in, definitely give us your email address if you want a free video on how to get started investing in multifamily. Okay, nice. Vlad is joining us as well. Everybody from today's meetup. So thank you for that, Angel Williams. And thank you guys for joining us as well. Yeah, definitely check me out on YouTube. You could also check me out on YouTube. It's Carlos D. Reinoso. I'm also on all social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And actually, I'm supposed to be live on TikTok right now. But I couldn't figure it out. So I'm going to have to apologize to my fan base there and hopefully be able to do it soon. Or maybe, who knows, maybe later on I could, use it an opportunity to catch in and join everybody here. So, okay, let's see what else. The summit that's coming up in June, you can use my promo code Canis, CANIS, and that should save you about $100 off the price of admission. Definitely check out Strategic Partnering if you guys are looking for a mentorship group. This is, everything from underwriting the market to underwriting the actual property, the asset. This is definitely a great place to be. Also a great place to network. And it's actually one of my tips for today. Definitely join a network group or a mastermind group. Get yourself involved, let people know what you're doing, and get the word out about yourself by being everywhere. Try to do like Grant Cardone, that he tries to be omnipresent in every social media. I highly recommend you do that as well. So now right into the content, and let me see if I can move this over to my big screen, and then that way it'll be easier for me to see this. Bear with me for just a sec. Okay, this one went over. All right, hopefully this one will go over too. If not, all right, that one did not go over. All right, so this is what I'd like for you guys to do as you follow along, if you would. Kind of paint yourself a little triangle like the one you see here, if you could. And Kath, like you were saying, you have children, and that's a great something that you could share with your kids as well. Just a quick triangle, and on that triangle, the very top, if you would, write the word know, like knowledge, KNOW. And toward the left bottom of that triangle, write the word like. And then on the right-hand side of that triangle, if you would, write the right bottom hand side of the triangle, the word trust. And if you see the word know, like, and trust real quick in the chat box, if you guys would, please let me know which you think is most important when networking with investors: to know, to like, or trust. And I know it's a simple little exercise, but if you, I would really like your participation because there's a good point to it. And I think it's very important if you see it for yourself so you could see what's most important here. And show of hands, who would say that trust is most important? Show of hands. Okay. And who would say like is most important? Show of hands. All right, so you guys have been in this webinar before, so that's great that you guys know. And actually, true as can be, the most important thing is to be known. To know is the most important part of the triangle. You definitely want to make sure that you get the word out there about what you're doing, and specifically. So, like I like to say, I am a multifamily investor. I'm a co-syndicator. And I'd like to raise capital in deals, and I have over 22 years real estate experience. So that's what I bring to the table. I could asset manage. I could do property management, or better yet, asset management to oversee the property manager. And I have plenty of years of experience. So that's what I bring to the table, and that's what I'd like for you guys to kind of think about when you're networking with these investors, is kind of have your elevator pitch, or just your, like who you are and what you're looking for and what you're currently doing in the space. So another thing you could do is host investor dinners. And when you host investor dinners, you want to invite maybe 4 to 8 investors, right? And when you're inviting those investors, keep in mind who your investors are. You're going to invite at least 4 that have already invested in your deals. That's the idea. At least 4 investors that have already invested with you. Now, I'm going to get to the point, if you don't have the experience yet, that's understandable. There's other ways to go about it. But considering you've had at least one deal, you'll invite at least 4 of those investors to a dinner. And you'll have them invite other investors that they might have talked about investing with you, or that are interested in multifamily as well, or that, kind of want to get involved, but are still kind of on the fence. Have a dinner, definitely, invite and treat everyone to the dinner. And in that dinner, I want you to ask 2 questions. Okay. You're going to ask 2 questions. What do you like about our group? Okay. And you're going to let the investors that you're going to ask one of the ones that have invested with you, let me know, what do you like about our group? Can you tell the rest of the investors that might not know, what is something you really enjoy about our group? And just let them give their story, their spiel, their testimonial, if you will. And then the second question you want to ask is, what did you not like about our group when you invested with us? And that's a tough question to ask someone, but you want a tough answer. You really want to learn what you could do constantly to improve on your methods, on your machine, if you will, on your business. So this is a great way. But the best thing about it is when the investor's talking about what I enjoyed and really loved about investing with your group, the other investors on the table that were on the fence are going to feel more assured, knowing that this investor had a great experience and wants to continue investing with you in the future. So that's why that's like a twofold question. And the main reason for it is to be transparent, and also to try to improve on your systems. And by the way, that's exactly what Dan Hanford, my mentor and the leader of this group, that's exactly what he does. He invites 8 to 10 investors. For me, a little more modest or humble type, I would invite 2 to 4, maybe 6. You know what I'm talking about? But because you want to go to a nice place, guys, you want to take them, come on, you really want to take them to a nice steakhouse or sushi or something that's really enjoyable, something fun, something creative, that kind of like leaves a good taste in their mouth about the experience that they just had, breaking bread with you, if you will. Excuse me for just a quick second while I take a quick sip. Okay, another thing, and thank you, is sending out a newsletter. With the newsletter, there's two types of newsletters you could send out. The first and most common would possibly be an email newsletter, and just at least once a month, let them know what you're up to, what you're planning. If you got any deals, man, that's the perfect time to let your investors know. Listen, we're working on this deal. You know, we just kind of want to let you know about it. If you're interested, here's a link. Let us know. It's a great way to stay in touch, and you want to stay top of mind. This is a great way to do that, because every month they're going to be hearing from you. Oh, here's Charlie, here's Carlos again. Carlos, here's Carlos, here's Carlos. So they know, and they kind of start feeling like they know you a little bit better, more familiar with you, right? And they start to trust you, and that's how the triad works: the know, like, and trust. First, they get to know you, right up here on top. They get to know you, and then they start to like you. And in the process, while you're raising capital, you're these investors are trickling in to your funnel, because now they're starting to like you. I see Carlos's videos. I see he wrote a book. He's about to come up with a new PDF, as a handout. And just like people start getting to know you better, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, they start feeling more comfortable with you. And the side effect, if you will, from that is that once they feel that comfortable, then if you look at the bottom right hand side, they start to trust you. Of the triad, the investor triad, they start to trust you. And if you notice next to my word trust, I have a few dollar signs. And the reason for their dollar signs is, as those are coming in, then these people are going to start investing with you. And they're going to start putting capital into your deals. And, that's the outcome that we're all looking for. We're not just here, just to make relationships. Part of that relationship is to build that relationship and to continue to grow. And then again, once they trust you, now they start to invest with you, and then they start referring you to other investors, as you can see with these arrows pointing upward. And once those investors start referring you, I mean, you're golden, because then you start building your investor base. And like this particular group, passiveinvesting.com, Danny, and Brandon, they have over 365 investors that invest with them. And so if some of them, let's say they've spent their profits already, or they have other money invested into other deals, there's other investors waiting in line to get into their next deal and their next deal and so on. So that's why it's good to have a big investor base, and it could never be too big. You could have 300, you could have 3,000, and keep it growing, but always try to stay top of mind with your investors. Okay, and then what Dan and his group does, passiveinvesting.com, they set up a where one of the managing partners writes an article, and that article they go into a little bit more personable and kind of talk a little bit more. I know personally, I think it was like the third one that they did. Brandon wrote an article about networking with brokers, and that was like one of the most candid articles that I've ever seen from any of the three, because he got into personal topics. He got deep into the relationships that he's building and how he's built them. So that was a great article that he wrote. And again, if you guys sign up for their newsletter, passiveinvesting.com, they could sometimes send you a few of their past articles as well. So I would highly recommend signing up for their newsletter. I don't have one here with me, but I usually have their newsletter. I was reading one just yesterday. Definitely check it out. And that's what you want to do, a newsletter. But not only an email one, but what they do also is a physical one that goes straight to your home address. The reason that's even a better capital is because what is it? Mail, like snail mail, or the mail that you get it through the post office. It's a lot it has a better open rate than emails do. So you have like an extra, bit of contact with the investors. And what Dan likes to call a multimodal approach, use everything you can to be top of mind with these investors, postcards, letters, newsletters, emails, free gifts, dinners, whatever you can to add value to them. And speaking of that, that's, and the newsletter, you want to include current happenings, investor dinners, upcoming events, like I was just speaking of, current deals, past deals, if you have some good testimonials on past deals, and tax form information, and just anything at all to add value to the investors. And then maybe you could also interview one of the investors in the article and have them kind of speak on their experience, and doesn't necessarily have to be about like a testimonial, but kind of ask them questions to kind of get to know them better. And, within those questions, definitely incorporate how their experience was with you as well. Bonus information, I would attend meetups such as this one. I would stay till the end of this one to see the breakout rooms, because there's other networking opportunities, additional networking opportunities after, in the breakout rooms. Plus, like, you could check out my YouTube video, right? And there you'll see other videos on different topics in multifamily investing. But not only that, you'll see other investors. Like right now, you're looking at our screens and you see other investors on the call, and you could kind of get their name, reach out to them on LinkedIn and let them know what you're up to. That's a great way. LinkedIn is one of the best ways to get the word out. So I would definitely do that. Start your own meetup. Like I was having a conversation with Erin, I believe it was last Saturday. It's a good way to get the word out and do a thought leadership platform and let people know what you're doing. In her case, like with the fire marshals that she works with, that would be ideal. And she would like have a niche, own the market, and like everybody would want to participate. So that's what I would recommend. Start your own meetup. It could be a YouTube channel. It could be a podcast. Angel has her meetup, and Angel, like, shameless plug, gladly. She has her own meetups, Marvelous Mondays. I was there earlier today. You guys, a lot of fun. People were so authentic, so natural. It wasn't like businessy where everybody's trying to push a product or something. It was more like a bunch of investors just really getting to know each other and networking. And I mean, seriously, that's a tight group, Angel. Kudos to that group and everybody on it. Because you could tell that that's a tight-knit group for sure. And I'm going to be creating something like that as well. I'm going to try to get on Facebook a group, and I'm also going to try to do on, I think it's called Patreon. I'm going to try to do some stuff there as well. So network on all social medias, and on social medias, guys, try to be on everything you can. I would say the main 4 or 5 are, most possibly in this order: LinkedIn for business, Facebook for business and personal, Instagram for same reasons, and TikTok is really slow and it's not really much for business, but it's a lot of fun to be at. I love to be on TikTok. There's a lot of inspirational things. There's a lot of business stuff. And it's a good platform for, in the future, possibly making some capital by branding yourself as well. So brand yourself on all social medias, get the word out about what you're doing. That's it for my presentation for today. I thank you guys for your time and your patience. Just curious if anybody has any questions whatsoever. This is a good time. Definitely let us know. Here's my contact information. I'm also going to put it now in the chat box. Wow, nice chat box today. Good job, guys. We have a lot of people participating, so I thank you guys for that. And okay, so any questions? Go ahead, guys. Any questions whatsoever? No questions?
Cinto has me singing the dang song now.
Which song?
I put on there when you were saying that we were a tight-knit group. It was more like we have a family feel. And so I put "We Are Family" there. It's like we are family. Like, I got yes.
That's hilarious. And no, but I seriously loved it, man. I mean, seriously, I get such a good vibe there, and it kind of motivates me for my meetup. When I'm coming to mine, I'm like, dude, this is the kind of like passion I need to put into this because, people need to learn and people are coming to me for this information. So I definitely want to bring them value. And that's another thing too, guys. When you're networking, add value to people ahead of time before you even say, hey, I have this product or this is what I do and everything else. Hey, what could I do for you? How can I help you in your meetup? Or like that's what Angel did for me. Like, hey, let me tell these people so they could join Carlos in his meetup. And try to go to other people's. If you know that's one of your investor friends is hosting something, even if it's not multifamily. And in fact, it's best if it's not multifamily because then you'll be the multifamily person on there. You'll be the exclusive one with the rights. So definitely something to think about. Let me try to squeeze this over to my other page. Yeah, let's see here. Where's the chat box now? Okay. All right, let me just put my contact info in the chat box briefly. And then after that, if you guys like, we could definitely go into breakout rooms. Here you have all my contact information on the screen and also in the chat box, email, and websites. Definitely check out, I'm still building it, my apartment investment pro business website, Canis Major Investment Capital. There you'll see what we're doing with my syndication and definitely going to be co-sponsoring my own deals next year. Rain or shine, that's for sure I'm doing it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that one. All right, so
Carlos, I got a question.
Please, Aaron.
After our conversation last week when you talked about your avatar, I'm not gonna lie, it was probably one of the first times I had heard that. So
Nice.
when you discover your avatar, your target market, as far as an investor, like, is that something you already had in your mind? These are the type of people I'm looking for, other than outside of being an accredited investor, or is it something that just naturally formed outside of your friends and family?
That's an awesome question. Yeah, it naturally formed. And the reason why is because as I kept going to all the summits and the intensives and the conferences and everything else, all the investors there were in that frame of mind where I'm like, man, everybody's either in IT or they're engineers of some sort. It doesn't have to be like mechanical or electrical. They were engineers. Or they were some kind of math majors, right? Like Jason, you're Jason Williams. But yeah, that they all had like, I started seeing like the same kind of person coming up, and the people that would reach out to me that I felt like were the ones reaching out to me the most was that specific avatar that I kind of like kept seeing. So it was kind of like obvious to me that, hey, these are my people. You know what I mean? Because I kept seeing the same people. And by people, I mean, engineers, usually men from, 30s to like 60s, you name it. And it could vary from person to person. Doctors, a lot of doctors, a lot of pharmacists, because like my wife, she works for a pharmacy company. And, I have a lot of connections through there. And like I was telling Angel, one of the guys that reached out, he's an investor. And he invests in hotels, and same kind of profile. He's basically 40. I think he's my age, 47 or so. He's a pharmacist, that type of thing. You know what I mean? Male. So yeah. So I think once you start your own platform or whatnot, the type of people, the type of investors you're going to see coming over and over again will help you easier determine who your avatar should be.
Cool.
Seriously, you do ask great questions, so thank you for that. And then also, so what Aaron was saying last time we talked as well, when you're raising capital and everything else, speak up a little bit. I'll tell you guys a quick story. The first time I had to do this meetup, it was in person. I was supposedly going to just shadow the guy who was hosting it back then, Brent, and he didn't show up. And I ended up hosting the meetup just on the spur of the moment thing.
Oh,
And it
wow.
was the funniest thing because I just had to, right? And we were at a restaurant, Grub Burgers. I'm sure you've heard about it, Aaron, in like by Piedmont.
Yeah, I
And
know how I feel about them.
oh, for real, yeah. And so I was there, and because they do have like vegan burgers and stuff like that too. So I was going for the salmon burger. But when we were all there, I was talking so loud that everybody like when people were coming up and getting their drinks and everything, this a couple people came over to me at the table and they're like, listen, they're like, I invest in multifamily and he's right. What he's saying, listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about. And mind you, that was my first meetup and I had to improvise because I wasn't ready for it, but I had studied because they were kind of getting me prepared for it. So I said, man, I got to, there was like 27 people showed up. So I'm like, I'm going to have to do this. And it was so fun because, and then the funniest thing is I talked for like 2 hours. Like I went above and beyond. So that was funny. All right, so I don't want to talk too much here. So any other questions? All right, then if there are no more questions.
Cinto has one.
Oh, Cinto has a question. I just saw. I don't see you on screen though. Oh, by the way, is there anybody else on screen that I don't see right now? I'm seeing about 4 people here. I don't see Cinto for some reason. But Cinto, yes, please ask your question.
Oh, I have my picture up. I usually don't come on camera. I think you have the setting where you can only see people with video on.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
That's
yeah. I
probably
do.
why.
I do. I actually do. Yes. Mhm.
But my question was a really simple one. You said about social media, so I don't post at all, but you said LinkedIn was good for X, Facebook was good for Y, Instagram was good for Z. Can you go over that again?
Yes. So LinkedIn is mostly business, and it's a great place to find investors, right?
Mhm.
One of the best places. And if anybody has something to add, by all means. But also Facebook, I find that you could also do good business as far as acknowledgement of your business, getting the word out about it. But don't expect too much clientele. Okay. And I've seen others, right? But not for what I'm doing. And then also there's a personal touch to Facebook where people get to know you outside of business, right? So what is Charlie? What is Cardone? My friends sometimes call me Charlie, but what is Charlie doing outside of the industry? What is he like when he's not investing or when he's not selling houses or selling apartment buildings or trying to syndicate? What is he actually like? And that's where Facebook comes in. And you could post, and then people post, oh look, this is what I had for breakfast. Sure, that's good, but you could also post, like family, photos or a trip that you took together or something that is congruent with the rest of your message. And I think if you could combine that, I think you're going to have a multimodal approach, which is going to expand on your networking abilities. And that's why I don't think you should only stay in one spot, because not everybody is everywhere, but like you got to be somewhere, right? So if you hit enough spots, I believe you're going to hit most people that way.
And I thank you. I love the way you segmented that. I think that's a great strategy. And then you mentioned Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
How do those come into play?
Okay, so the reason I like all of these and YouTube as well is because there's potential to monetize, right? So anytime there's a way to make money, and it's not complicated. It's not like in the past, you were either a professional paid actor or you couldn't get any type of gigs, if you will, right? These days, you could be, a guest on somebody's summit, somebody's podcast. Like I was, and thankfully so, I was a guest on Angel Summit one time. It was a great experience for me. It was actually, I think, my first summit that I spoke at, and it opened the doors for other summits as well, and for other speaker gigs. So that's the kind of thing that, you know what I'm saying? Like if I never met Angel, I never would have been in her summit. If I never would have been in Dan's, I never would have met Dan to be doing this meetup right now. And so as long as you're getting the word out there in every kind of social media outlet that you can, and try to keep it congruent, like always try to have like a similar photo, like a professional photo and your website or whatever you can to kind of keep it congruent. And why I like TikTok is because it has the potential to make money. I don't like the fact that they censor, they have a lot of censorship. They censor what you say sometimes, but I think as long as you're keeping it business savvy and professional and clean, I don't believe there's any reasons why they should block you or restrict your content in any way. So so far I've been able to say everything well, there was one video actually that I actually posted a video of my house is for sale right now, and I actually posted a video of my house for sale, and that was actually the only video that they blocked. And I don't know why they did it, but they blocked.
Weird.
I think I think you can't sell your house or something or houses. I don't know. But anyway, so that was a learning experience. So and Instagram, I like Instagram because you could post from Facebook and automatically share it on Instagram. And then also with the Reels, the Instagram Reels, if you do video, eventually you could start making money off the Reels as well. And then you could always multi-purpose it, use it for a YouTube video, use it for an audio, maybe use it as a PDF, whatever, there's so many things that you could do to multi-purpose it. So that's why I like being everywhere. There's this new thing. Oh, I forgot the name of it. Zapier. I think it is Zapier. That I'm just now learning about. And it's basically a way to post, like, let's say on Facebook, and it'll post the exact same post everywhere that you have. Yeah, this is brand new. I'm just learning about it myself. So I can't tell you more details about it, but look up Zapier and try to find multi-posting capabilities. Great question. Thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah, Zapier, it does like a trillion things, actually. It integrates with different softwares within different industries, like anything, like your Gmail with your Slack, your Google Drive with your Slack. It does a billion things. So, and I think that was wonderful. I love the way you segmented that, because I don't know how people manage like 20 different social media. I don't post on social media in general, but I don't know how people, I'm losing my mind. I know you put in, look at that, you put in apartment.com, facebook.com, youtube.com, linkedin.com. I'm like, man, how do you manage all that?
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. You start to feel like a content creator. And I'm like, man, I want to get to focusing on the deal. So I feel you on that, Cinto.
Yep. But let me tell you that the more you do it, the more opportunities start trickling in. Like I never went out and said, hey, I want to be a moderator to raise capital on this panel. But somebody who knew that I've done something similar before said, hey, would you be interested? And I said, well, heck yeah. I'm like, for sure. I'm like, you read my mind, because that's exactly what I was looking to do. And if you have that inclination, it's almost like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. To me, it's kind of like the same thing. If you're ready to be, like, let's say, be a guest on somebody's podcast or something, somebody's going to ask you, are you want to be a guest on this podcast? Because we're looking for guests and whatever. And especially if you're letting everybody know, hey, that look, that's something I like to do and I'm interested in. So, yeah.
How many hours a week, or how much time do you set aside each week or month to what I'm going to post, the content?
That is awesome. Like, put it out? Yeah, that's awesome. And to be honest, I don't do it the right way. Okay. And pure transparency, because I do it myself. So I don't have a VA, and I should. But all the stats and all the marketing and all the that you see, it might be a silly post, it might be informative, it might be educational. That's always me. You know what I mean? So if if something's wrong with it, if you think it's cheesy or whatever, please let me know, because I'm the one doing it, right? So but what I want to say is that what I think the proper way, I think, is you should have a VA, and someone should be there just for all your marketing purposes. At first, I believe you should do it yourself so you can learn how to do it. And if you guys see me looking sideways, is because my big screen is over here and my little screen is over yonder. So bear with me. So what I was going to say is, have a VA, that does all your marketing material, and they could do like PDFs for you, like not PDFs, but what am I thinking of? Maybe they could even help you out with an Audible book. There's things that VAs could do that you might not have enough time to. And I'm a strong believer that you should focus on the top money making decisions of the company, and let people take care of the smaller issues, right? And I think marketing is, even though it's a large part of what I do, I think the proper way is to have someone fully dedicated to that. That's all they do, and they know how to do it really well. So that's what I would do. Get at least one VA. You could go to Upwork.com. That's where I found the VA that edits my videos. And you could also go to, I forgot the other one. It's been so long that I go to the other one, but I like Upwork best. I think it's one of the best places to find VAs. And then also on LinkedIn, there's actually some gurus that sell multifamily products and whatnot. And, I use the word guru loosely because it's just basically people that teach multifamily investing, right? So, and what they do is they have like a whole group of VAs, and they actually like rent them out, or they'll let you use them for a fee or a cost. I don't like that method because it costs more, and I'm always very frugal with my money. But if you've got it and it you could spare it, I would definitely go that route, because they give you everybody that you're going to need for multifamily coming from a multifamily investor. So another great one. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to add to what you guys were saying. I didn't want to chime in just yet, but
no, please, yes.
I wanted to also let Cento know as well too. Social media now is a business. You guys are going to have to get on social media. Take it from me, because I was in the sports realm, and I use social media quite often.
Yeah.
And then I went on a very big hiatus and got into the real estate business and started just doing small posts here and there, but not really taking it serious. But I saw a trend to my followers, my business. Nowadays, your active resume isn't a resume that we used to send back in the day. It's basically what's your IG, what's your TikTok, what's your YouTube. So I do agree with getting a VA, but there's a lot of free apps and filters embedded in Instagram, TikTok, and these other platforms that you can create your own information, create your own create your own video. So if you're out looking at a few doors, or at a multi-unit, or even a single family home, just record it, and it will actually give you the templates in your IG and TikTok to put it together with music. And it's really funky. It's really cool. So if I can say anything, we all need to take it very serious, because it is the new wave, and this Generation Z is taking it
to the next level. Yep. I totally agree with that. And, I wasn't into Facebook. Like when Facebook first started, I'm talking about over 13 years ago or something. I just remember I used to only have family members and like 2 or 3 friends. So I could count them in 2 hands, right? And then I started, with different businesses that I was doing, insurance, real estate, and everything else. I'm like, well, this would be great free marketing material, that I could just post it here. It's free, and I could get the word out to people that I don't even know. I don't know these people. They're somewhere else. Like for this meetup, I actually get people to come in sometimes from London, from England, from Trinidad, from you name it. And why is because, you're doing everything you can on social media, and then it's almost like the algorithm starts kicking you out more. This is something kind of funny, and I'm not sure if everybody has this experience, and I kind of wanted to ask. But on Facebook, after a certain time, I started with like 10 friends. Now I have an excess of 5,000. So I had to start a new Facebook group to add those additional people. So that's a good thing, right? And then what Grant Cardone always says, it's like your audience is money, man. I forget the exact terminology he uses, but he's like, you got to use those eyeballs, because if attention is the new currency, attention. And to your point, is that same thing, that these days you're gonna have to use it. The sooner you get involved in it, the easier it's gonna be, because every year there's new stuff coming up now with Meta, metaverse coming out. I'm not involved. I don't want to be involved really in Meta, but at the same time, you got to consider that the future might be a virtual type of business world, and definitely got to prepare for it. So definitely a great point, Kev. Yeah, so that was great. Let's jump into the breakout rooms, guys. That's what I was going to try to do, and I've been trying to find where this was again. Just a sec. Stop share. No, breakout rooms. That's right. Angel, can you help me? Like, I was looking the breakout rooms. Oh, I just saw it.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, click on more.
Let's sign
And
automatically.
it's like the second thing down.
Yeah, they start moving it. Like before, it was the first thing. Now there's like the third.
Yeah, now
thing down.
it's like it might even be more than that down, but there's like a line break, and I think it's right above that.
Yeah, I got it. Cool. All right, let's go to the breakout rooms. Hold to broadcast to our rooms. Got it.